Hi, I'm Jeff.
And I'm Marnie. We're two broke teachers who love to travel. Our years of experience traveling on a budget have given us insight into the best and most affordable ways to see the world. Now, we want to share our adventures and knowledge with you.
Follow along as we share tips, tricks, and hacks to help you travel the world without breaking the bank. This is Broke Teacher Travel Podcast.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Broke Teachers Travel Podcast.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Marnie, and this is episode 3. Today we're going to talk about budgeting for your trip.
Budgeting always seems like the hardest question. You know, how am I going to afford this? How am I going to afford to go somewhere or do something really, really cool? And it seems, ominous when you look and you see some trips $5,000, $10,000. I could promise you we could always find a cheaper alternative. Budgeting really isn't that hard because all of the little small changes could add up to big savings over a year's period.
Absolutely. Eat out a little less. Make your own coffee instead of pulling through Starbucks or your local coffee shop. These kind of things really add up a lot. We purchased a small espresso maker, so now I get my coffee fixed that way, and it's much, much less expensive. You don't have to change your whole lifestyle to be able to save a little bit of money every week, and it adds up.
Today, for example, I ate out for lunch, and so I had a Subway sandwich and a combo, and it was $10. Well, if you're spending $10 a day on lunch, that's $50 a week, which, adds up. So, we're not talking about totally changing your lifestyle. What we're talking about is maybe take your lunch 2 or 3 times a week, and maybe even take that money that you were going to spend and put it somewhere else.
Yeah, it does add up quickly, more than you would realize. And like we said, you don't have to change your whole lifestyle. It's important to keep some of that. You need that outlet sometimes of grabbing dinner out or grabbing out, lunch out somewhere. Now, another thing you can do, you have a way of saving money.
Yeah, I have a bigger way of spending money, but of course, I was talking about, I try to allot $5 or $10 a day for my breakfast and my lunch. And so on the days that I do not do that, I still take the cash and I put it in an envelope. I have envelopes for about everything. Several years ago, there was a guy that Marnie used to follow. What was his name?
Clark Howard.
And Clark Howard, yeah, that's the guy's name. He's actually still around because I saw something about him the other day. But he talked about using this envelope system and, putting $5 or $10 a day up in an envelope. Don't touch that money. And maybe every 2 or 3 months, go through and see how much you have. And then when you start getting to the point where you have $400 or $500, then you start looking and you're like, well, man, that's a good down payment on a trip. And in some cases, depending on the airfare, it could be a trip itself.
A whole plane ticket.
Right.
Yeah, possibly. Or it could be a road trip.
Right. Absolutely.
A weekend road trip somewhere. Another thing you could do along those same lines for the kids, little coin machines, and the kids can put their money in it and watch it grow, and it tallies it for them. And when you're done, let them use it for souvenir money. This way, they get a sense of learning finance and how to save money and how to use it appropriately for what it was designated for. You can teach them a lot with this. It's a great skill, but it's also a lot of fun.
And another thing along the same lines is, once you get that first couple $100 saved up, and say, for example, you're trying to go to Europe, go ahead and take that money to Wells Fargo. I know the one at our local bank in Panama City actually has a readily euros on hand. So go ahead and get that converted. The kids will think that's a pretty cool story, and maybe, hey, who's that person on that bill or something to that effect. But it's really cool because kids tend to like that currency, and then they'll have some money to spend when they get there.
That's a good point. Yeah. Now, there are ways of paying for your vacation that make it a little easier, so it's not just one lump sum. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I have thoughts on everything,
yeah.
but of course, for me, I think there are some companies that I really prefer to do business with, that I've done several trips with and things like that. And one of the advantages of going with these companies is that they allow you to make a monthly payment.
And that's big on a teacher budget.
Keeping
it to the monthly payment.
And again, when you see sometimes these trips and they're $2,000, or, for a family, you start the first time Marnie and I went internationally with 2 kids, we spent way too much money. We spent almost
Way too
$10,000, maybe a little
Yeah,
more for 4 people. And, I look at that's absolutely crazy because we can do that exact same trip on our own now for, half or maybe even a third of that price.
Oh, yeah, probably at least that.
You know,
At least that, because we've learned all the inside tricks to saving money. We can save on flights. We can save on whole packages. There's all sorts of ways to save.
One of the companies that I like to use is Gate One Travel. Again, this isn't,
We're not endorsing
we're not
them.
endorsing them or anything. I guess maybe we are. I'm not really sure, but
Not
you-
officially.
but I like to use them. They have great customer service, and they have really amazing tour guides. I've never went on a Gate One trip where the tour guide just was incompetent, didn't know anything. I can't say that about all other tours. Marnie, do not say anybody's name.
I'm not.
Okay. So, don't say anyone's name. But that is one of the things. So, companies find the company that gives you the perk. Also, some of these companies, when you recommend people for their travel to use their company, sometimes they will give you a $50 or a $20 flight credit or something to that effect. So that's really cool.
And for all you families heading to Disney, they do this as well. When you book a package vacation with them, you can put a down payment on it, and then you have a certain number of days. I think it's usually 30 days out that you have to have it paid off. But that really makes it more bearable and more affordable in the long run, because being a teacher or just being any hardworking person, sometimes that monthly payment makes it easier.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I do encourage you to always look at the bottom line. I mean, that is part of it. Check the small monetary details of the trips. I just, for a trip that I just booked, there was a flight change that they just sent me. And so I had to look at it to make sure all of my connecting flights was fine. The excursions or any upgrade, my advice is try to book any major excursions that you want to see here in the States. That is one thing that the tour companies, when you get over there, they do not discount that price. Okay. Some things they may, but on those extra excursions, they do not. Also, the food, what meals are included. I know a lot of times when I travel internationally, breakfast and sometimes dinner is included. So the only thing I have to worry about is lunch. And things of that nature.
Now, especially on a cruise, you have to remember the upgraded food options are usually extra. They usually cost more. And another thing, now, what exactly would you consider the difference between an excursion and a tour when you get somewhere? Because some tours you book while you're there, right?
Right. Some you can, and again, it just depends on the amount of time that you're going. Sometimes it's just not feasible to go 400 or 500 miles from where the tour is going. So the tour may be to 3 certain places, like one of the most popular ones, London, Paris, Rome. Okay, so that one. But an excursion may be, well, I'm in Italy and I really, really want to go to Venice. So you have an extra day or so in Rome of free time, even on your tour. So and maybe you see a few things, but then you pay extra money to take a high-speed train to Venice for, maybe 6 or 8 hours. And so that usually runs maybe an extra couple $100.
Yeah. I'll tell you, one of the places you can really get bogged down if you don't plan for it is souvenirs.
Oh, yeah. We spend way too much money on that, and I've had some souvenir nightmares myself. So.
Oh, yes. The soapstone statues that got broken by TSA.
Oh, yeah. So I was in Greece, and I bought these statues with King Leonidas. They were beautiful. It was such a good deal. I very seldom check a bag. I just have a backpack in my carry-on. But I'd bought so much stuff, I actually had to buy a duffel bag to check it. Well, TSA wanted to make sure that, and again, I appreciate them doing a great job, but when I opened my packages, they had been rewrapped in some sort of
Paper.
It said
packing stuff.
It said TSA on it, but my statues were shattered, and unlike Humpty Dumpty, I could not put King Leonidas back together.
I tried. Now, do you think souvenirs are important?
I think they are.
I do too.
And I think because it's, and like you're always fond of saying, we're always going to have the memories of when we win and we have the pictures and things like that. But, to actually have something that was from that place and when you got it.
And tangible.
Right.
That you can touch, you can hold it, and you associate that memory.
Right.
I think it's important. I think it's really important for kids.
And I think that sometimes there's things that you wouldn't think that would be like really cool souvenirs, but you just check with your tour guide in this next case. But when I was at Mount Vesuvius, I was at the top of that, and they sold these nice little gift sets with rocks and stuff, and some people were buying it. And my tour guide said, "Dude, there's like 1 million volcanic rocks here. Just pick some up." And I'm like, "Can you do that?" He says, "Well, nobody I know of has ever gotten in trouble with it." And so I put them in my bag, and well, I made it out okay. So, and also the other one was in the Jordan River. They actually sell little bottles that you could actually get, water from the Jordan River if you're into that kind of stuff. But for me, I like to have these little cases of rocks and things, places I've been.
And I think it's important for kids to be able to choose their own. And as long as they stay within their set budget, I think it's good to let them pick their own souvenir because that's what they're going to associate that memory with.
And so many times, as parents, you kind of learn those lessons. It's like, oh my God, you're going to buy this styrofoam sword. Why don't you buy this? Well, because it's fun, Dad. It's fun. Sword fighting with these plastic swords with your sister, 3,000 miles away from home. That's a pretty cool deal. Or, in Disney with...
we may have a few lightsabers.
Yeah, and we may have a few broken lightsabers too, but it was a lot of fun. The kids, again, those memories are special.
The kids, we played with them as much as they did.
Well, maybe. We did. So other things that we need to always ask about is...
Discounts.
You guys, if you offer any sort of discounts, sometimes teachers will get discounts. Military oftentimes get discounts and senior discounts. So those are, they don't know if you never ask, you don't know.
And there's another one that I've heard of occasionally, not often, but occasionally, first responder discounts.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And again, definitely with the military and first responder seniors, they all deserve it. And, teachers, we work hard too. But I just, I do like the fact that we recognize that among, people in our society. That is really cool. But, just ask for it.
And you'd be surprised at the places who actually offer discounts on things like that.
I've actually even noticed that in the airports, in Atlanta, I can't remember even which restaurant. I wish I could off the top of my head, but I remember them asking, "Hey, are you military?" And I said, "No." And they said, "Oh, well, too bad because you would have got a discount." And I'm like, "What?" And every little bit helps.
Oh, 100%. Every $5 makes a big difference. It adds up quickly. And speaking of adding up quickly, food, snacks can add up very quick on a trip. We try to pack some snacks. You have to think of things that are non-perishable, easy to carry.
And that will pass TSA inspection too.
Yes. No liquids preferably. That's a big no-no. Things like granola bars, beef jerky,
Twizzlers. I got to go with my Twizzlers.
The drink packets. The little powdered drink mixes, those are fantastic to keep on you, and they're really inexpensive compared to getting drinks along the way. All you have to do is have a bottle of water, pour it in, shake it up, you're good to go for a drink, and you've saved probably $2 to $3 at least, depending on if you're in an airport or a restaurant or wherever.
And a lot of the hotels that you stay at, they offer free breakfast. And so, what I always do is I carry with me some Ziploc bags. Okay. And so I'll eat my breakfast. And if there's, some other kind of little snack, even, like biscuits or something like that, I put in my little handy dandy bag. So about 10 o'clock, if I get a little hungry, I have a snack and I've already paid for it. So
and one of the big ones in Paris is a baguette. You can grab a baguette and munch on it for quite a while.
Oh, and over in Europe, a lot of times at those breakfasts, they have those little jellies that come in a little glass jar. And so again, it's nothing in the world like eating a snack on some location, some chateau or whatever. That's a cool memory that I think
It
people have.
really is. It's a lot of fun. I remember our picnic in Paris was
Right.
so much fun.
Well, we went to Versailles and actually chilled out at the bench down there and hey, ate. That was really cool.
Yeah, yeah. And across from the Eiffel Tower.
Oh yeah.
That was a lot of
Oh,
fun.
that was absolutely.
And another way that's a good thing to save money is discounted gift cards. A lot of people, you don't normally think of this, but I know that at Target, if you use your Target Red Card, credit or debit, doesn't matter. And at Sam's, Costco, maybe, I don't know. We don't have a Costco, so I don't know if they sell gift cards. Let us know. Drop a line in the comments if you know this. They will give you a percentage off or a discounted rate of some sort, and you can save on things like restaurants, gas, Disney. You can save money that way, and those really can be helpful. I know a lot of people that have bought Disney gift cards along the way building up to their trip, and they pay for their entire trip that way.
Well, I actually have a Disney credit card, and it's not very much, but I looked the other day and it was like $52. So I'm like, oh man, I could almost afford a 1/8 of a 1 day pick. I'm just kidding. But that's one thing. But these discounted gift cards and sometimes if you have questions, just ask us in comments, things like that. But for Marnie, she is kind of our domestic traveler person, and so when she talks about these discounted cards, it's for gas. So if you're going to drive down to Disney, why not save a few bucks on gas or those free meals? They add up. And
Yeah, the road trips, the restaurant gift cards are fantastic for road trips.
And you never seen anyone get as excited as her or my daughter when we get a Chick-fil-A sandwich free because we've eaten there so many times. Okay,
Maybe.
yeah, maybe. So, but those are good things. So again, get several of those, save those up throughout the year. And for me, the budgeting, I like to always try to plan things out for 1 year, a 1 year time limit, because that gives me more time to save, more time to look for things. And later we'll talk about, travel websites and things of that nature.
Yeah, I was about to say one of the ways we have saved a lot over the years is using hotel booking sites.
Yeah. And
That's been very helpful.
And and we've never had a bad experience with that, with a hotel booking site.
No, never.
And some
another,
people may, but we haven't.
yeah, another thing you can do, don't forget to ask your employer if they offer corporate codes. Because sometimes I know we get discounts on rental cars through
Right.
our school district, and you can get discounts on rental cars, sometimes hotels. And don't forget to check Sam's and Costco. They have travel deals. So check those too. Sometimes they pan out to be okay. I've seen people do it. It may not be the best deal, but it's probably better than some of the others out there.
Right. Absolutely. And so just going back through a couple of these things, plan it out. Sometimes it is fun to be spontaneous, but you better have saved up some money. The more spontaneous you are, the more it's going to cost you. I can tell you that. But those small changes add up a lot. We eat out less, use the envelope system.
Coin machine for kids. Don't forget to make down payments on things and do the monthly payment plan. Check the small details of your trip. Be sure to check that. That is so important.
Make sure you plan for souvenirs. And again, if you're like me and you travel light and you get to places and you post a cool picture of shirts from, say, Sparta or somewhere in Greece, then everybody wants one. Then you have to buy a duffel bag and send them back. Okay, so check for that. Remember, if you're packing light, that you better get some small souvenirs and pick up small rocks, not the big ones.
Yes. Ask about those discounts. Pack your snacks.
And those discounted gift cards that Marnie was talking about. So that's kind of what we have for this episode. In our next episode, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about ways to save time once you start your destination and at your destination.
Yes, definitely. And that can be a big deal because you can lose a lot of time with little things that just kind of drains your vacation.
Right. And you don't want to waste time. You want to enjoy it. Relaxing is different. Being upset or frustrated, which I have been numerous times in my younger life. I try to be better about it now.
Absolutely, though, that does make a difference. But we'll talk about that in our next episode. Remember, drop us a line, Follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter. Like and subscribe to YouTube. And we'll see you guys next time.
All right. Have a great day.
Bye. And don't forget, break the monotony, not the bank.